Hi, CMattDye here. Thanks for stopping by and checking out today's video. I know I haven't done a video in about a week, but I've been really all hands on deck getting the Alpha Surfers project up and launched. And now that it is actually launched, I have some time. And now we can do these YouTube videos again because I really do enjoy them. So let's get into the top 5 CNFT projects of the week and what is actually going on. Right before I get into it, let me talk about my project briefly, and then we'll get right into the video. So with Alpha Surfers, the benefits, you're going to have access to the Alpha Cove, all types of giveaways. We've given away whitelist to Royal Chess Club, Lending Pond, a lot of great ones that only you have to be a holder to actually get access to. We're going to do crypto trading. I've done stock trading. I've been a trader for the past 16 years successfully. So I'm going to share my thoughts, not trading signals. I'm going to share my thoughts and then show my trades as well. So this is more of a learning education type of thing. We're going to do post-mint analysis, pre-mint analysis, different token analysis. And we're going to have a cornucopias race team, which I'm super excited about. I think that's going to be a ton of fun. In addition to that, what do you get for minting and holding? You get access to our private Discord. You're going to get 70% of the post-tax income from the project. We're building something that's going to bring Cardano together as a community. I'm pretty excited about that, actually. You're going to get exposure to the markets with professional knowledge, community voting, and transparency. Transparency is paramount, so that's going to be shown throughout the way. We actually do have a community auditor, and that's going to show the paper trail of what's going on. You're going to get access to information that can help you in life, not just in the crypto game. That's very important to me because education's been so paramount in my life. And I'm not saying traditional education, I'm saying actual education has been paramount in my life. Learning different tips and tricks on how to increase your awareness and your focus, how to, not procrastinate. That's something that I learned in school, is how to procrastinate. You study the night before a test, or you just don't study at all. Or, you have this paper due and you write it right before it's due. And instead of getting an A, you get a B, but that's, this stuff like that I think is very important. So anyway, let's get on with the video. So let's jump into the top 5. We have Stag Alliance, Bored Ape Cardano Club, Her Monsters, Goofy Gopher Mining Club, and Ape Society. So let's get into the volume really quick, and then we'll jump back into what's going on. So the volume, day over day is down with across the board. If we go week over week, you do have some signs of hope. You have volume up, trades are up, and NFTs sold are all up. If we go month over month, it's still down, which I would expect. It's just not really a great time in the CNFT market. So it's really the best time to pick off deals and then wait to see what is going to happen when the market does start to improve. And overall, the market's totally fine. A lot of people out there are saying the Cardano NFTs are dead. Are they? 100% no. That's my opinion. But I think 100% no. I do see the volume as fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There was a little dip here, but we did get those spikes that I was talking about several weeks ago, which is good to see. So I have no worries about Cardano NFTs. Are they going to struggle a little bit? Yes. Are we in a bear market? Yes. So that just makes sense. But I think overall, there's a ton of potential in Cardano and the CNFT space. So let's get into the top 5. Stag Alliance is number 1. They minted recently. I did not mint them. I did have a whitelist. I had the chosen list. And I really did think about it, but they have such a high supply. It's you're really minting for a rare, and if you don't mint a rare, you're going to very high probability that you're going to lose money on the mint. And that's the way I was viewing it, and that's the way it was. And really, all you can do in NFTs and trading in general is that you come up with your theme or what you think is going to happen, and then you hold to it. That's the only thing you can do. So I did not mint Stag Alliance. They did, right when they minted, they were a little bit above the floor, but I don't think they really did that well. And then they dropped under mint fairly soon, within like the first few hours. It dropped below mint price. Now, if you minted a rare, great, because you did well. But if you didn't, it wasn't really the best mint. You do see there's 830,000 volume traded. They're building a game. They're trying to gamify their Discord a little bit. And it seems like every project is kind of building a game. So what is building that's different? That's kind of what I'm looking for. Is it an unmet need? And it seems like the gaming projects everybody's going in on. And is it an unmet need? Some of them are doing well and some of them not really so much. So that's kind of what I'm looking at when I am investing. So Stag Alliance, 145 ADA floor price, 830,000 ADA volume. That's huge. 7.5 thousand all-time high sell, and I like to use that 10K mark. If you have over a 10,000 all-time high sell, usually something is happening. Under 10,000, it could be, but it could not be. However, that's a lot of volume. So once it does find a floor, which it hasn't found yet, maybe scooping some up closer to 100 ADA wouldn't be the worst idea, just because that volume is pretty wild. So that's very interesting. You can see top 5 holders all have over 42 NFTs, 42 or more, which is pretty cool. Wallet distribution, over 2 or more, a little over nearly 500. So out of a 7,200 mint, which I think they were trying to do 10,000 if I'm not mistaken. I don't really remember, but 1,500 holders, that's quite a bit of holders actually. So I'm thinking it hasn't not found a floor yet. And if it drops below that 145, 140, maybe somewhere between 80 and 120 would be an area where you could pick some up at. And, it wouldn't have really found a floor at that point. You're kind of just trying to scrape at value. You're saying, I'll be a buyer around 90. And I'm thinking in a couple months, it will be over 180. So you're thinking you're going to get a nice move. But that's the way I would be looking at it. I'm not looking to get into Stag Alliance, but I'm just trying to provide some thoughts here, a little bit of clarity. So hopefully that made some sense. Next, let's go to Bored Ape Cardano Club. This is an interesting project. It's a blatant ripoff of another project that will remain nameless. Everyone knows. These guys were saying that they bought a Mutant Ape Yacht Club and something else. I don't really follow the project. I wasn't trying to mint. I didn't mint. But that volume is crazy. 799,000 ADA volume traded, 189 floor price. Now I saw this mint and I saw a lot of people get into it. And to me, I assumed this was another blockchain. A lot of people coming over buying it to try to make Cardano look bad. Like, hey, you have your ripoff project is one of your best projects. That's kind of the way I was looking at it. And I don't really follow it. I know that they're trying to turn the project into a DAO, which a lot of projects are kind of doing that. They don't have a lot of structure. And, they're like, well, what do we do now? Let's just become a DAO. I've seen that happen for the past year. So I don't really know enough about the project to really make a guess. I'm just saying that's what I've seen personally in other projects. So 189 floor price, 799,000 volume traded, which is a lot of volume, and a 15,000 all-time high sell. Obviously, there are buyers in this, and it's looking pretty decent. It shot up here, had a little pullback around that 123 level, and now it's pushing up again. If it were to pull back, if you wanted to get in, that's what I would be looking for. Failure around current levels to 200 is what I would be looking for and anticipating. And then once it pulls back, that's what I would be looking for to get in. Is it going to hold above that 123 level? Is it going to break it? That's what I would be looking for. You have some big holders in the project, over 100. The top 5 are all over 100. Let me drop down a little bit more on the analysis, and you see it kind of drops off a little bit. So after the top 6, which is over 100 NFTs, it starts to drop down a little bit. And your top 20 own 30 or more NFTs. Everyone in the top 20, which is a good amount. You see there's only 882 available right now on JPEG Store. However, people are going to want to start looking for liquidity, because that's what the theme has been lately, is looking for liquidity. So that's what I would be paying attention to. So a drop, that 120 to 130 area could be a possibility, or it could come closer to 100. So that's what I would be paying attention to whenever it pulls back. If you wanted to get in, that would be your time. I'm not trying to get in personally, but just shared my thoughts. 15,000 all-time high sell and 799,000 volume traded is nothing to scoff at, especially when they just minted recently, about a week ago. Next, let's go to Her Monsters. Her Monsters has a pretty good following, and you can see here 702 holders out of 4,444, 319 floor price, 695,000 volume traded, which is pretty good volume, and a 5.3 thousand all-time high sell. I know that Her Monsters has a following because they have other mints, and they definitely have a lot of fans. So if we look at this, 220-ish could be. You could argue that this is the floor. I'm thinking maybe it is, maybe it isn't. This was a nice move up. Does it hold over 300? That would be kind of the area that I would be looking for. If it dropped below 300, then I would be really paying attention to this 220 level. If it stayed over 300, well, then that is your entry right there. It's too new to really have a strong conviction one way or the other, I think. But judging with the market, I would think maybe it does break 300. If right now you're kind of playing the game of the Her Monsters name versus the market, which one is going to play out? Is it going to hold that 300, or is it going to do, what has been a common theme in the market lately and break that 300 and then come down and flirt with that 220 again? And then, we'll see what happens. Is that floor really here or not? So that's kind of what I would be thinking, that 300 floor will probably get broken. But like I said, you're playing the name versus the market. What's going to happen? You do have some big holders. So that's what I would look for. Is it a decent long-term play? I think it is. But if I was going to get in, I would want to get in at a lower price. I'm not getting in up here. So my personal thoughts, that's what I'm looking at. So that's what I'm doing. Next is Goofy Gopher Mining Club. Now, Goofy Gopher Mining Club is a project that I've been a fan of. I had a long conversation with them several months ago about legality, just because I was starting a project, Alpha Surfers, and Goofy Gopher's Mining Club. We were both wanting to reward in ADA. Neither one of us wanted to do our own token, so I felt that having a conversation was good. I really liked the team over there. Maybe that's a personal bias, but we had a great conversation. It was probably a week-long conversation or something like that. So, just to get that out there, they have 1,045 holders out of 8,884. I thought it was 8,888. I don't know. But a 339 floor price was pretty good. 1.1 million ADA traded. That's huge. 7.9 thousand all-time high sell. So that's pretty cool. And you can see here that they kind of started below the mint, and then they started to push up a little bit from there, which is normal. And it shows the conviction in Goofy Gopher's mining club that people were actually buying it even when it was trading below mint. So they were kind of like buying both. They were buying the secondary, they were minting, which is pretty cool. You can see there are some very large holders in Goofy Gopher Mining Club. So if you're unfamiliar, they're actually using miners to mine crypto. They're going to mine Bitcoin, Cardano, and something else, I forget. So, but anyway, I think that they have really put a lot of thought into the project, and they can pull it off. So that's what I'm seeing with Goofy Gopher Mining Club. But then you look at the volume, and other people obviously have that same feeling that I do. Just because 1.1 million volume traded, that's huge. 339 floor price, which is a good place to get in. Under 300 would have been better, but it's not that big of a difference. It was floor was dropped to 259. Right now it's at 330. 100 ADA. Is that really that big of a difference 10 years from now, assuming that this project actually does what they say they're going to do and they turn out to be great? 100 ADA is kind of potatoes. Especially when 100 ADA, you're looking at $30-something in US dollars right now with current prices. So, not a bad play. I like Goofy Gopher's Mining Club. It's definitely a longer term play. So it's not a short term play in my opinion. It's definitely a longer term play, but it's a decent one. So now let's go to Ape Society. Ape Society, 1996 holders out of 7,000. Floor price just dropped under 7K. 31 million volume traded total with 250,000 all-time high sell. They've been around for a little while, which is weird that I didn't do that. All right, so they're coming down to flirt with that low again, which was 6669. That was interesting. 69.50 is where it came down to, and now it's at 69.95. So if it does stay under that 7K and it breaks that 6,500 level, really you're just watching it to see what it's going to do. It's that 4,000, 4,500 is an area. Does it come all the way down to 3K? That would be kind of crazy. I would not expect that. I don't expect a drop down to 3K, but it's possible. So really have to wait and see what is going on. Their tokenomics are kind of disastrous, but they do have a strong community, very strong community. And I would be shocked if it did drop down to 3K, but it can happen. So you'll really want to keep an eye on that 5 to 4,500, 5K to 4,500. If it does break this 6,500 or 6,600, if it breaks that, then watch those levels, 5K, 4,500. If it breaks 4,500, watch 3K. That's something that could happen. So if that were to occur, that's the way I would look at it. Breaking 6,600, then you got 5K to 4,500, then you have 3K, and then below that you have that 2,000 to 2,500. So those are areas to keep an eye on. If it breaks above that 7K, 7,250, if it breaks above that, then you really want to keep an eye on 8,000 to 8,500, maybe 8,000 to 9,000. That would be your resistance right now. So that's kind of what I'm watching with this to see what will actually play out. And then from there, if you wanted to get in, it wouldn't be a terrible idea. So if you're wanting to get in, see how much ADA that you have. Maybe buy one down here, and then if it drops, you can buy more. If you can only buy one, that is where the dilemma comes in. And if it does break that 6,600, then you know that the floor is going to come down. But if it doesn't and it starts moving higher, you know that maybe the floor is being put in. But that's kind of the way I would look at it. I'm not in the project. I got out, personal reasons. And then, we'll really just have to wait and see what happens. But those are the levels I would be watching for, especially if I wanted to get into the project. So I really have not been minting anything lately. The only thing I minted was Alpha Surfers because that is my project. We're doing a lot of neat things, and everyone who mints is going to be able to get 70% of the income after taxes from the project. So that's one thing that I'm excited about. Our first software project, where we already have plans to turn that into an income stream. We've already talked to a lot of projects about that, coming on. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then in the future, which will probably be later this year or early next year, that's when we will have our second drop, and that's when we will start trading the treasury. We have a lot of experience on that. Team is very strong, and that is when the real profits will start to come. And we will be rewarding those who do mint this collection, because this is the start of everything. So that's kind of what I've been up to lately, and that's what's really been taking my time. That's why there has been a lack of YouTube videos, and that's why I've been talking to a lot of other projects about their legalities, because you have strength in numbers. So you can talk to lawyers, that's great, but you also want to talk to people in the space. Like, what's actually going on? What are yours? What have you found? What are your thoughts? Stuff like that. Like, how are you doing to protect your project? So you want to talk to a little bit of everybody, and that's what I have been doing for the past couple months. And I think that makes us stronger. Not only does it make Alpha Surfers stronger, but it helps everyone, because we start the conversation and we're able to actually discover things that we wouldn't have on our own. And I think that's what Cardano is all about, is just community, getting to know people and learning and growing as people. So anyway, with that, hopefully you did enjoy the video. I'm going to drop a link down below to our mint Alpha Surfers. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you around the crypto markets. Take care.